Welcome back. So I I brought in a ref you suck counter. I'm starting that tonight because we've seen some ridiculousness. I only heard one. It was part of one tonight between Tampa Bay and Florida. Not that officiating isn't going to be talked about. It is. So, Vasilevsky versus Bobrovsky. This goaltending matchup continues to be one of the highlights of the series. Good Panthers forechecking because that's how they roll. Florida presses at 2.5 minutes. Tampa Bay is blocking the path to the net. In fact, 4 minutes in, Tampa Bay had the only shot on net in this game. Tampa presses at 5 minutes. Cirelli has a one-timer kicked aside. 6 minutes in, the shots are 3-0 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. All that's missing is a goal for the lead. Hagel has a net feed that's picked off. Lundell has a rush chance that's turned aside. Things get pushy on a hole by Vasilevsky. So here we go. But then Tampa Bay draws a power play. The problem is Tampa Bay's power play in this series has been, well, it's been atrocious, and it did not get better tonight. So there's an early clear. Tampa cycles. It's cleared again. It's killed off. There were no shots. So that's the end of that power play, and Tampa continues to struggle. Remember, they come into tonight with a 7.7% success rate on the power play. If they're going to dig their way out of this mess, it's just, yeah, there's no other way around it. They're going to have to get at least a power play goal. Shots are 4-2 Tampa with 7.5 minutes left, so very defensive first period to this one. Panthers then get a power play. There's an early clear and another. There's a shorthanded Cirelli shot that's blocked. That power play is killed off. Lilleberg has a screenshot then that's held. The Panthers press. Mikkola with a near miss. Things get pushy on a hole by Vasilevsky. We have a 0-0 draw through the first period. Second period, Kulikov has a shot that's gloved aside. Rodriguez has a shot that deflects high. The Bolts press are kept to the outside. Shots are only one apiece at 3.5 minutes. Good defense by both teams. And this series has featured a lot of good defense on both sides of the puck. So, power play for Florida, early cycle. Reinhart fires one wide, more cycling. Jones has a wrister that's saved. There's a failed clear, but that power play is killed off. The Panthers press after it's done. Barkov's denied. Vasilevsky holds. 8 minutes into the period, now the shots are 4-1 in favor of the Panthers. So Tampa Bay stuck on one shot for a bit. Marchand beats out an icing, and it throws off Tampa. Lundell ends up burying one from the doorstep. Marchand and Luostarinen with the assists at 9:06. One problem that Tampa has outside of the power play, and there are other problems too, but one major problem is Tampa Bay has not scored first once in this series. And that, if this series is over soon, we may be talking a lot about that when I get into the videos on how teams got eliminated from the playoffs. That's what follows the series where I talk about how teams missed the playoffs. So, Panthers clogging up the middle pretty well. Hagel gets shaken up on a hit from Ekblad. There was no penalty. There should have been. I'm not going to weigh in on whether it should have been 5 or whatever, but there was no penalty on the play. Dave Jackson admitted, that probably should have been a power play because he puts his forearm up, and I think he got an elbow in there. But either way, no penalty. Cooper was beside himself. But this seemed to spur Tampa on, because shortly thereafter, at 12:21, Chaffee, with a wrister from the left side of the net, scores Perbix and Lilleberg with the assists. And then 11 seconds later, at 12:32, Chernak scores from Gensel. I don't know that I have seen John Cooper that fired up behind the bench before. And he was clearly upset at the non-call. And I do think officiating is going to be talked about long after this series is done, as being one of the big deals in this series. But yeah, this one was fired far side from the right circle. The Panthers then look to respond. There's a press by Florida with 6 minutes left. One thing I will say for Florida, they didn't panic. And this is one thing with the Florida Panthers. There is no panic in their game whatsoever. Panthers press with 2.5 minutes left. Bennett fires one high from in close. Tampa Bay presses in the final minute. Things get pushy on a hold by Sergei Bobrovsky. Good back checking by Forsling leads to a press by the Panthers in the closing seconds. So it's 2-1 Tampa after 2, but it's close. Third period, early power play for Tampa, and it's 5 minutes on Mikkola. It's reviewed, and it was just, it's reckless, and it was a dumb penalty by Mikkola. It really was. Girgensons is down against the boards, and he just kind of drills him into the boards. Well, he's already down. So, yep, it's 5. But remember, this is a Tampa Bay power play, so, right? There's an early clear. Tampa cycles. It's cleared. It's cleared again. For a Tampa team that should have been fired up, considering the missed call in the second period, whether you think it's a 2 or a 5, it's a missed call. And then, you see your player get not injured, but like Gergensons, I'm pretty sure stayed in the game. But just to see a hit like that, that's 5. You'd think they'd be a little more fired up, but it seemed to motivate Florida. Bolts cycle with half the major done. So we're 2.5 minutes in already when Tampa Bay finally sets up a cycle. Hedman fires one wide, puck's cleared out. Radish has this shot that's blocked. Then there's a shorthanded rush by Marchand, which leads to a penalty by Tampa to end the major. We get 7 seconds of 4-on-4. It's Lusterinen that's down. The Panthers set up. They cycle. It's cleared. Florida scores, but it's offside. And it was pretty obvious quickly that this was an offside goal. It was not going to count. So there's some booing, but there were 2 players offside. There's a shorthanded rush by Cirelli that then ends that power play. So Tampa Bay survives that power play when otherwise they wouldn't have. Because if you don't kill it, then they score. See, this is the kind of insight I can provide that you may not hear elsewhere because people are like, that seems really, really obvious. Is it, though? Is it? Anyways, Lindell has a rush chance that's held. The shots are only 1 apiece at 7.5 minutes. These teams really dedicated to the defensive side of things. And I really think that this series, I think could end up going 7. I do. I think it can. Because of the fact these teams both play really tight defensively, I think we could see a game break one way or the other. But we'll see. McDonough's denied. Gensel can't bury one in close. There's some pushing. There's a rush chance by Lindell that deflects out. This is where they talk about the fact Hagel didn't return. We'll see what Hagel's status is for the next game. Good thing it's not a polarizing figure in this series, but we're not done talking about polarizing figures as of yet. So the big hit on Perbix draws cheers. Hedman has a sharp angle chance that's saved. Gord tries to jam one in. Gergensons is then denied. Teams trade rushes. The shots are 7-2 in favor of Tampa with 5 minutes left. The problem is they're just shots. They're not goals. So Bobrovsky's held the fort pretty well, and here we go. Bennett has a chance that's blocked. The Bolts clear, and then at 16-13, it's Ekblad. The one that Tampa fans are going to say should have been thrown out of the game. The one that I'm sure John Cooper thought should have been thrown out of the game. Ekblad scores. He buries a rebound on close. Sam Reinhart with the assist. So now we got a tie game, and 11 seconds later. So what's fascinating is you get 2 goals in 11 seconds from Tampa here, 2 goals in 11 seconds from Florida here. Florida gets the lead. It's Seth Jones. This one just pinballs in. It pinballs off under Vasilevsky's arm and then off his pad. Fluky goal. And when we talk about Colorado-Dallas game later, there's fluky goals in that as well. So the Bolts then look to respond. They pull the goalie in pretty much right away at 18-20. Verhaeghe scores from Barkov. Tampa Bay pulls the goalie again. Florida had opportunities at the empty net again, but they didn't really need to score. They were up 4-2. That's your final. The ref you suck counter only got to 1. That's it. So I bring in a new counter. Nothing. I'm disappointed. A little bit disappointed. I think that counter is going to get a lot more action when we get into the Battle of Ontario, Game 5. Florida leads 3-1 with the 4-2 victory. They can close this out in Tampa in the next game. Shots on net are 6 apiece in the first, 9-6 Florida in the second, 8 apiece in the third. Shots are 23-20 for Florida. The chances have been close. Everything's been close. Just Tampa's not finishing. And their power play can't score. They go 0 for 2. Florida goes 0 for 3, but Florida got the win, so they're not worried about going 0 for 3. The hits also favored Florida, 46-28. And some big hits thrown by Florida in this game. Vasilevsky saves 19 out of 22. Bobrovsky saves 18 out of 20. So neither goalie was overly busy, and Florida emerges with the victory. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.